Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Day three. Day three of Lent, ladies and gentlemen. Gone. But not before we have some unfinished business to take care of. And for those at all curious as to perhaps why I wanted to do these sorts of videos in the first place, because these sort of like blogs and updates are really, they're not so much really to do with Lent, but they're rather more to do with what should I do as a Roman Catholic throughout the season of Lent. Because I pride myself on doing even more than ever before, and one of the things I absolutely can give up is the pretense of being a coward for any longer. I'm 25 years old, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not getting any younger. If I don't start emerging from my shell, there is absolutely, I may as well stay locked inside for the rest of my life and live the rest of my days as a hermit. Which is why, ladies and gentlemen, I speak with no fear, and I fear no temptation. For the things that have been buzzing in my head, the things that have been going on in my world, have left me with feelings that are for the most part evil, and for other parts toxic to the environment. Which is why I have to channel these emotions and these feelings out publicly, for there might not be any other way of trying to get these points across. Not because people wouldn't listen to me, but people wouldn't get the full scope of my dilemma. And that is, I heard on the news, it was either yesterday or it might have been earlier today, about Conservative MP Therese Coffey suggesting to the public through a shortage of vegetables and fruit that we should either eat turnips as the chief alternative, or just work more hours for more money just so we can actually afford better food. Now, I want to illustrate some things in mind, ladies and gentlemen, because you can take these things as you will, but you know what? I have reference to my 10 commandments of politics before, but for those who need a quick reminding, I'll talk about the second one first and the first one later on, because these two are, as you might imagine, about as poignant as anything else. And remember, the second rule, ladies and gentlemen, is you have got to have your say. And my say, I shall have. It's not that Therese Coffey isn't completely in the wrong, because in the long run, many of us, probably if we truly looked ourselves in the mirror, maybe we could do a little bit more to earn a bit more money. Maybe there is something outside of ourselves that makes us think that, you know what, perhaps if we really put ourselves to it, we really could be better than any of us ever imagined. And it's, maybe it's things about like unlocking our full potential, or even just locking the potential that we have just towards each other. Like, maybe we might not be economically better people, but maybe we can be, friendlier to each other. We can make everyone else's day sort of better. I don't think she meant it in that light, and for the reasons I'm about to mention. You get the impression, because it's not as if, because Therese Coffey has said very similar things to this in the past, where she asked absolutely in full sincerity, can you make people work for less than £5 an hour? She asked that with complete sincerity, and that's just the only thing she is sincere about her. If she can slash people's rights and their wages as much as possible. And when you get that sort of impression, ladies and gentlemen, you get the full measure as to why people are annoyed at her. We're annoyed at her, ladies and gentlemen, is because she thinks that this is the quickest solution. Just work more, just earn more, just be cleverer, just stop being poor. That is her message to the general public, ladies and gentlemen. That is the extent of Therese Coffey's compassion and concern for the larger but greater public at large. Just stop being poor. I don't need to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that I find this sort of behavior nothing short of disgraceful. It's disgraceful, ladies and gentlemen, because there is no empathy. There is empathy, yes. There's no sympathy. There's no compassion. There's no feeling but contempt whatsoever towards the general public, because just all right, then eat turnips instead. Then what's wrong with turnips? I don't see, we've got plenty of turnips, but I don't ever see you calling about turnips. And then it goes on to, we'll just stop being poor. And you know what? There we go. We've given them all that we can give them. That's one problem sorted. That's it. The problem is not sorted through things like that, ladies and gentlemen. The problem really has only just begun through this attitude. And that's the sort of thing that really plagues this country as we speak. Because, to be honest, if there is one thing that should change absolutely if people want to feel better about this government, is that the biggest thing, like I said, the biggest thing that has to change is people's attitude around here. Attitude towards those who are going without. Attitudes to those who have to make the tough decisions. The attitudes towards the people who are affected when the tough decisions have to be put in place. These are the things you have to consider, ladies and gentlemen. And to be honest, I do not think the people in charge put these things into consideration as much as they actually should. That's my biggest issue, because if I said what Therese Coffey had said, I would literally imagine my family, watching with their jaws on the floor and wanting to ring me up saying, Jim, could you come to the old house for a second? I think we need to have a talk, because I'm not too sure if I fully got what you understood. Could you mind coming to explain to us exactly what you meant? Yeah, because I would not say, I would never say those sort of things, because this government is completely on its arse, but they have systematically made every single attempt to try and make things worse, because this level of this attitude of callousness and utter contempt and empathy for the working class is the exact reason why there is this level of hostility, ladies and gentlemen. You treat others as you would like to be treated, ladies and gentlemen. You know what? This is not hard. This is not a very difficult solution to figure out. If you want to actually solve this problem, ladies and gentlemen, between strikes and the general discourse about why so many people are dissatisfied about the people of this country, well, you only have to take a look at what people were saying. That will give you the biggest clue right there. Which brings me on to the first rule of politics, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to me, and that is, you serve the people, not yourself. That is what it comes down to, ladies and gentlemen. And again, for what I'm seeing, there seems to be a lot of helpful servers, but nobody is actually being served. Everybody is just taking turns to serve themselves. It's a bit like that story of that Japanese soldier when he gets to hell and he finds out that everybody is just shoving, giant foods into their mouths with chopsticks, whilst in heaven, everybody is feeding each other. Now, I'm not saying that, some sort of Marxist utopia is a world where people feed each other is the alternative, but surely it's got to be a better solution than this. Seriously, why are so many people reticent about letting the other half in when that might possibly be the only real solution? The only other solution to this, ladies and gentlemen, is revolution. But do you really think, the revolution is going to safeguard a utopia when it's going to safeguard a dictatorship instead? Then where will we be? Consider that, ladies and gentlemen, and I will see all of you guys again next time. Take care.